Welcome to the Metal Detecting Podcast, brought to you by XP Metal Detectors. We're digging the plugs and pinpointing the topics you want to hear. Now here's your hosts, Dave Kimball and Grant Hansen.
This show is brought to you by XP Metal Detectors. XP Metal Detectors is a high-end, innovative metal detector company with great machines and great pinpointers. For more information, go to xpmetaldetectors.com. For a dealer near you, try a Google search or go to xpdeus-usa.com. Hello and welcome to the Metal Detecting Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kimball, coming to you from Central Oklahoma, and I am joined today by my co-host, Grant Hansen, coming to you from New Jersey. How was your Thanksgiving, Grant?
My Thanksgiving was good. We hosted this year, so a lot of cleaning and preparation and, just getting the house ready. But it was a good time, relaxing, ate a lot of food, and now I'm kind of recovering.
Oh, yeah. Same here. Yeah, it was great.
Do you have a favorite meal around Thanksgiving that you like to eat?
A little bit of everything. I love the pumpkin pie. I love the ham, just anything. I like it all.
Yeah, I'm more of the dessert. I like the desserts more so than the main course. So
yeah, same here. I gotta watch what I eat. I've been hitting the gym a lot lately, and I've been losing a lot of weight, and I just don't want to keep going with. This is my bad time of the year right here.
Right. I think for many people, and it takes 3 months to get off what it took 2 weeks to put on. So, and I hope everyone listening had a great Thanksgiving and enjoyed themselves with friends and family, and took advantage of the extended weekend or going to, and get out and do some detecting.
Right. Have you seen that? Everybody could now buy our hoodies and shirts and beanies and jackets all on the store. Sonia's been pushing it, and she's got it on our Facebook page all about it. And it's pretty cool that people could finally actually start buying our stuff.
Yeah, the products are great. I've got some, and I recommend anyone who's interested in having an XP Team USA official branded piece of clothing, like you said, a hoodie, a t-shirt, or a beanie, log on to our Facebook page, and there's all information on pricing and how to order.
Yes. All right. Also, check out our new videos added on our YouTube channel. Lenny Quaylen's got some, and the Minnesota Beach Boys has a few. And do you got any new ones, Grant?
I don't have any new ones published yet. I've got one in the can that I'm working on, and a couple new film shoots coming up that I'm excited about. And if anyone wants to comment on what they're looking for or what they like to see or don't like to see in videos, I'm always trying to figure out, what's the balance between storytelling and digging the live digs, and how much FaceTime versus how much detecting. I consider myself a work in progress.
Yeah, and check out Grant's videos, his previous videos and everything. He's got some great videos, and he finds some pretty cool stuff out there in New Jersey. Yeah,
I got really lucky on my last hunt. I'm hoping to hit that field again in a couple weeks and see if there's anything I missed. I mean, it's just so big. There's no way one more day is going to cover it all, but hopefully we'll walk away with some good stuff.
Yeah. And also, Gary Blackwell's videos on YouTube is a lot of good info on how to install all kinds of programs, including his Fast Evo program, and even secrets on how to tweak your ORX. So check out Gary Blackwell.
Yeah, Gary was at Pound the Ground, and he was putting the Evo program on people's machines who were getting ready for the seated hunt, because it's a really fast machine, and you want to, especially in those situations, want to recover stuff fast and just get out there and swing. And, if you're in a situation like a seated hunt, or you got to really just cut through a lot of garbage, it's crazy fast. All right, so let's get on with the show. We've got tonight Cameron Maser from Maryland. He is the newest XP Team USA field rep. We're excited to have him on and talk to him. I think he's got a lot of good stories and some great finds to share with us.
When we get back, we'll talk with Cameron Maser.
Check us out online at xpdeus-usa.com.
If you are looking for more information about XP products such as dealers or updates, then check out MetalDetectorsAmericas.com.
Hello, this is Daniel from XP Metal Detectors Americas, and I just wanted to let you know about the XP Metal Detectors Americas.com website, which is full of information on the Payuse metal detector and the ORX metal detector. Both are wireless and do all aspects of metal detecting, which is gold prospecting, coins, jewelry, and relics.
We have a new member of XP Team USA. He is avid metal detectorist from the great state of Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Cameron Mason. Welcome to the show, Cameron.
All right, thank you. Never been on a podcast before, so this is quite the honor.
Awesome. Glad we are your first. And yes, welcome to XP Team USA. We are very happy to have you.
So you spend your life in the mid-Atlantic, growing up in Delaware and then going a little further south into Maryland. You certainly live in a good area when it comes to metal detecting, huh?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of history in this area, so I'm privileged to be in an area rich in history like this.
And you have access to properties like large farms in your area, or do you have to drive quite a bit of distance to get some good properties?
Both. I'm a country boy, so I know a lot of the local farmers. I'm a member of 3 historical societies in the area: the hometown I live in, the next town over, and then also the county. So I get some permissions that way too.
Can you tell us, you've been detecting for a number of years now, but when you were a kid, your grandmother actually influenced you by giving you some National Geographic magazines, and you gained a love for history and archaeology. Can you walk us through that experience?
Yeah, this was before the days of computers, and so she had the subscription, and she'd give me the back issues, and I would look through the pages and look at the treasures, and I especially like the Egyptian issues, and King Tut and all of his artifacts in his burial tomb, and stuff like that. It just fascinated me, and not that I wanted to be a treasure hunter per se. It just I don't know. It was cool, and archaeology's kind of been an interest of mine. I like old stuff, old relics, where they came from, the history. You can learn a lot about that stuff.
I mean, it reminds me of when I was a kid and I saw National Geographic, and I went outside and started digging in my backyard, and we didn't have a lot of property, and my mom came out and she's like, "What are you doing out there? You're messing up the whole yard."
Yeah, I actually had a metal detector when I was a kid, but I never put 2 and 2 together about like digging for stuff in the ground. I'd see people on a beach using their metal detectors, so I just kind of thought it was a beach thing. Never thought it could be a like a treasure finding tool. I was never introduced to that aspect of the hobby.
Yeah, so what was your treasure hunting experience like then as a young boy?
Just digging up my matchbox scars that I lost in my sandbox, basically. Maybe some pennies or something that my parents threw out. I thought I was finding something, but they probably just threw some stuff out in the yard. I don't remember using a shovel for digging plugs. It was just sifting through the sand or picking stuff off the ground. It wasn't really a digging part.
Gotcha. So after all those years, what ignited your fever later in life as an adult?
Well, I still had the fondness of history and artifacts, and I'd watch YouTube videos and several shows on cable and KG and Ringy, and they're finding stuff, and that was probably my first hey, these guys are using metal detectors to find artifacts, not just an old guy on the beach with plaid shorts that are pulled up too high and digging nickels that somebody dropped. These guys are finding artifacts and bullets and gold coins, all kinds of cool stuff. So that was probably my first realization that you can find cool stuff with a metal detector.
Speaking of life as an adult, you have pretty much an interesting career. So what's your role working at the nuclear power plant?
I'm a nuclear plant operator. We basically monitor and run all the backup systems and all the stuff that keeps the public safe. We're a power plant. We generate electricity. We are nuclear, so there's a lot of equipment involved that that backup stuff that could keep the public safe and in case of an accident. Not that we're going to have one, but just in case. There's a lot of preparedness and training and log taking. We trend equipment to make sure everything is running smoothly. Trend it to anticipate any errors or malfunctions that could be coming.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you've had any nuclear emergencies that you're allowed to talk about.
Oh no, no. I mean, I'm probably not allowed to talk about it, but no, we're totally safe. Wouldn't be there if we were or weren't.
So working 12-hour shifts probably doesn't give you much time to detect. How often do you get out to metal tech?
Well, this time of year, when I work day shift is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's dark when I get there and it's dark when I get off, so that kind of eliminates detecting during the work week. So, but I do get a lot of time off. Every 5 weeks, we get a week off if you don't have to work overtime. So I like to get in 3 or 4 days detecting. Then, of course, in summertime, I can detect when I get off work or days off. So
That's great. It does sound like, I mean, you're putting in long days, but it does sound like it offers you some balance for life.
yeah, it's a lot of, what should I say? It is a long shift, but on my days off, we do get a lot of days off, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
We'll work a 48-hour week, and then we'll have 3 days off, and then every fifth week, like I said, we have a week off, so I can do a little road trip, detect somewhere or locally or whatever I've got lined up.
So you recently found a small coin that's been on my bucket list for years. I can't seem to find one, a trime. Can you tell us about that experience when you found it?
Oh, well, it's kind of funny. It was kind of sort of my white whale for a while. I invited a friend to that same spot, and he got one. And well, let me back up a little bit. This guy, he's a coin magnet. I mean, I don't know how he does it. Just has that gift. So I was asking him, I was watching him how he detects, and he just kind of just spreads around and just randomly, and I'm trying to grid an area and overlap my swipes and try to be methodical about it. And he says, sometimes you just got to go to the coin and just go get it. So the morning half of the hunt, we hadn't found much, and that's when we took a small break and had some coffee, and that's when we were talking about that. And then afterwards, 20 feet in, he texts me, and it's a freaking trime. I was like, my God, it should have been mine. Wasn't mad, but so probably a couple weeks later, I finally found mine. It was charred and looked like it had been burnt. It was kind of bubbled on the back, but it was my first trime, and I loved it. Actually, found the Eagle Dragoon button the same day, and I put the pictures together in like a little collage, and I sent it into one of your contests, and I won a free 11-inch X35 coil. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was just about to ask you about that. You had a contest, as you know, XP Team USA Facebook page has a lot of giveaways, and you actually won the X35 coil. That's pretty cool. Have you got a chance to try that out yet?
Oh yes, I love it. It's my I don't even use the stock coil anymore. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good coil also, but that right. X35 is a game changer.
Was your stock coil 11-inch?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I did. I threw my stock coil in the closet, and that's all I use is the X35 now. I use the X35, and I also use the 9.5 elliptical high frequency. So I just kind of go back and forth from them two, and great coils.
What frequency do you usually run the X35 at?
It depends. The 9-inch I usually around 12. I guess when I'm relic and coin hunting.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to go, deeper, I might lower it to 8, but typically 12 kilohertz.
Yeah, I'm around the same. I actually run the HF coil at the round most of the time, usually because I'm on small home sites, and I can just grid, and I don't have even maybe a quarter of an acre or half an acre to work with. So, but I'm running usually the 14, or I'll go up to 27, 28. But with the X35, I've been playing around with some of the higher frequencies, or even dropping it down to around 7, just to see how deep I can get. It's fun. It's like you have a whole new detector to try out, but it's not a whole new detector.
It opens up some of your old sites that you think are hunted out, and you go to them and change coils, and it's like a new site again, basically.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're about the same range I'm at, Grant. Yeah, I usually stick with about 14, but I try to play with the higher frequencies. And
when you're up there in higher frequencies, even a little tiny shard of aluminum foil, sometimes you can't even find it. You have to use your pinpointer, and it's amazing some of the tiny stuff that I find.
Yeah, I've had the experience of I've got it in my hand and I know it's in my hand and I can't find it. That's how small this stuff is. So, but it's good. You go, you use a high frequency, then you go over the same spot with a lower frequency or a mid frequency. And, you're really maximizing your potential of finding everything you can find.
Absolutely. Also with the X35, you can lower it to 4 kilohertz. Then you could use the boost function. And that, you get a lot more depth with that.
I'm sure a lot of the guys in England are using that for horde hunting, or even in America for the bigger relics like cannonballs and stuff.
Yeah, one of the guys in our group found a very deep crotal bell. I got a crotal bell too, but I wasn't using the boost at that time. His was pretty deep, and others had been through that area and missed it, and he was using the boost and got that crotal bell.
Well, that's awesome.
You do have to worry about your battery life though when you're in that boost mode. So it does eat it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it kicks it into high octane, but worth it, especially if you're kind of at the end of your day and you want to just give it that one more, once over.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. We kind of saved it for the last 2 hours.
Yeah. So we mentioned earlier that you live in a great part of the United States, and you actually have the opportunity to find both Civil War and Revolutionary War artifacts. Can you tell us about the English Revolutionary War sword scabbard tip that you found?
Again, that was probably the first, well, the biggest or best Deus find. Might have had it for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. Hadn't really found much, and I just got this booming signal, and it was all day long. And these nice signals had been, buried cans or can slaw, and I saw this sticking out of the plug, and I immediately knew what it was, or at least I hoped I knew what it was. And sure enough, it was a scabbard tip, and I was thinking Civil War because that was the period that most of the finds were in. So I'm looking it up, and I couldn't find one exactly like that. The Civil War ones have like a wear strip on the tip of it. It's like a round, I don't know, like a semicircle. So when they're dragging it on the ground, it doesn't eat through the tip. It'll wear that tip, or it'll wear that part off first. By design. So all of them had this round thing on the end, and mine didn't. And I was asking. I probably contacted a few friends off Facebook, and hey, what is this? I think it's a scabbard tip. But can't find one like it, and somebody suggested, well, search for Revolutionary War. I was like, well, I don't think it's that old. All the stuff I've been finding are 1850s, 1860s, Civil War era. So typed in Revolutionary War and found this museum site, and lo and behold, there it is. Exact same markings, the scalloped edge on the top.
Wow, that's very cool.
And I could match it up that way, so I was pretty stoked for that. That was at the time, that was my oldest find, 1776.
So I wonder if somebody was carrying their grandfather's sword or something like that. In that time,
I tried to rack my brain. How could this be? Was it dropped by a British soldier? Was it in somebody's collection? That was there a house there? And who knows?
You just never know. I found a World War I trench bugle in New Jersey, and there's no reason it should have been there. So that's part of the mystery and the excitement.
Yeah, even in the 1800s, there were collectors just like we are now. So they could have had stuff that in their possession that was 100 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure there was a lot of sentimental value in a lot of the stuff that they had too. The family history in the army or in the wars, them carrying their father's or grandfather's equipment and stuff like that.
I was hoping to find the rest of it, but it probably just fell off. That was a weak part of the when they're riding on horseback. That's the part that gets hit by bushes, and that's the part that can easily get knocked off if it was knocked off in that manner, and not just in somebody's collection.
And the point that probably wouldn't have been noticed when it fell off either.
Yes.
We'll be right back with Cam and Macer.
This segment is brought to you by Omega Mill Pouches, the official digging pouch of XP Team USA. If you're looking for a rugged, hunt-tested, washable pouch, look no further than Omega Mill. Get on eBay and search Omega Mill Pouches. That's OMEGAMILL.
And we're back with Cam and Macer. Now, the Mid-Atlantic is great, but you recently went to England, and that was quite a long trip. What was that like?
That was amazing. I'd never left the country. When I got the invite, I didn't have a passport. I didn't even know how to get a passport. I was totally ignorant about world traveling. So yeah, I get to England, and as you know, England has massive history, and the artifacts, relics they find are just amazing. So I started watching YouTube videos, and so I could identify some of this stuff, and what programs are they using, techniques they're using, just so I wouldn't be a total newbie over there, which I was anyway. But I did good over there. I found a couple cool things, and the flow has them, but hopefully I'll get them back soon.
Yeah, it'll take a while, but it's the right way to do it. And I will tell all our listeners, if you haven't read it yet, make sure you stop by the XP Team USA website, which is xpdeus-usa.com. Cameron's got a great article on there where he talks about his trip and his perseverance in finding a skeet. We were talking about trying different frequencies and trying different things new, and this is an instance where this paid off for you. Can you retell that story?
Well, that day there was like 10 of us there, and 9 of us all had deuses, so that should say something right there. And I don't like to, when somebody finds something, I don't just run to that area. I kind of just continue on with my area of the field. So that's what I was doing. I was trying to find my own hot spot, but I noticed this one area where people were finding some cool stuff, and we all had radios, so we can say I found a button, or I found a buckle, or whatever. And that way, if you're not finding something, you can wander over there, or it just helps people to track where the hot spot might be. When I say hot spot, it might be a house site, it might be a trading post, who knows what it was back then. But anyway, so all morning long I'm hearing amazing stuff come across the radio, and I'm getting bullets and modern trash, and not too much stuff, a couple buttons, and so I'm not really getting frustrated, but I'm just glad to be in England. So you couldn't ruin my day. So we broke for lunch, and I was talking to one of my friends, and we're both tired and hadn't found much, and I was just trying to think outside the box, basically, like what can I do different? All these guys were pounding this area, and there's got to be something else left, but they're all using either the 11-inch or the 11x13 coil. We're all pretty much using the same program, and so I said my HF round coil was still in the van, and nobody else was using one. So I was like, well, that's something I could do different, and maybe have a different result. So I went and got that, and started off. I think 26.6 is the lowest frequency in that range. But I still wanted to get a little bit of depth, because we're in a plowed field, so there were ruts, and I just wanted to get some depth. So I turned my reactivity down to 1, which is kind of crazy. Usually when you're in a trash area, you use reactivity 4, and so I was thinking 1 is going to give me better depth. I'm going to have to go really slow, because it's not going to react fast. Mm-hmm. So that's basically what I did, and I was like taking baby steps, and I was in an area where a couple guys had actually gridded, back and forth in 2 different directions. And about, I don't know, hour later, I hear on the radio, half hour, we're going to pack up and go. So still hadn't found anything. These guys cleaned that area out. I'm thinking, this probably wasn't a good idea. Get this one signal, and it was kind of scratchy, weird, but repeatable. I was hitting it from all different angles, and I should have just dug it, but it was just weird. It was bouncing back from like 43 to like 36, and just maybe people in England are used to those kind of signals, but it was news to me. So, and one of my buddies came by, and he's like, what are you doing? You got something? I was like, no, it's just weird signal, and I let him hear it, and he just kind of went on by. And so I finally dug it, and couldn't even find it. I popped the plug, and nothing. The signal disappeared. Nothing in the hole, nothing in the plug, and I stuck my pinpointer down and got a faint beep on that. So I dug some more, and it's definitely in here. But this target, which I didn't know what it was at the time, was so tiny. It's a little bit bigger than the Tic Tac. And finally pinpointed just a little. It looked like a pebble, and I squeezed it, and half of it fell off. And I saw this little face. I was just I started shaking. I was like, wow, I got my skeet, and ran over to John, who I'd shown the signal to, and he confirmed what it was, and it was amazing.
It is an amazing find. Even people who live and detect in England all the time, a skeet is a remarkable find.
I guess you can read about it in the article, but I actually called it. I told the guy I was on break with, I was like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a skeet.
Mhm.
And I didn't really plan on getting a skeet. That was just the rarest, oldest coin I could think of. And, just wanted to say something silly and shocking. And that's what I got. I wish I'd called a horde. Maybe I'd have gotten that.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a great article.
You guys can read the rest of the article, but to make a long story short, I tried the same thing like 5 days later and wound up getting another skeet, another variety.
Oh, wow.
So I thought it was a fluke at first, so it definitely worked at least twice. So.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it really makes you want to go to England. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's amazing there.
It really is. I mean, I try to go out there once a year, and it's just like you feel like you're walking on hallowed ground, and every time you put the spade in the ground, like you just might find something ancient. You might not, but you just might.
Around here we're lucky to find something that's 200 years old.
Right.
Yet over there, I'm holding in my hand something from the 7th century. I mean, it's hard to
them guys
hard to comprehend.
Them guys come over here and they find something 200 years old, and they're like, "Oh, I got stuff like that in my pocket change."
Yeah. Though I always say history is relative to where you are, right? And the surroundings. So yeah, you can find something 1,000 years old, 500 years old, 2,000 years old in England. But if you're finding something, 150 years old or whatever it is, and it was significant in the Civil War, that's a great find. It doesn't really, the age doesn't matter.
So do you plan on going back to England anytime soon?
Nothing planned yet, but yeah, absolutely. As many times as I can afford to go and get the time off for it. We have to plan our vacations like a year in advance. So it's kind of, we're actually picking our vacation now for all of next year. So I picked some dates in September, which is when I went this year. So hopefully if I am able to go, it'll be in that time frame.
Great. When it comes to doing research and getting permissions here in the USA, what's your strategy?
I talk to people at the Historical Society. I have an atlas. I don't know if you guys have that, but we have in our area we have the 1877 atlas, and for all the Maryland counties, and basically just start with that. Whatever area I want to hunt that day, I'll look on that map, and you're just looking for a little house symbol, and so that there was a house there in 1877, and that house could have been 100 years old, at that time. So that's a good start, and then you go there, and it could be a field, and you might look for the highest elevation in the field. That's normally where they would build their house. There could be depressions in the field, where the foundation was, stuff like that.
One of the biggest problems people have is getting rejected when getting permission. So what would your advice be for them in how they can handle rejection?
When I first started out, I seem to be getting a lot of no's, and I still get the occasional no, but just got to be polite. Act interested in their house. Wow, you have a beautiful piece of property. Just get them interested in what you're doing. Don't just, can I dig in your yard? That's not a very good selling point. Maybe show them what you find, and have a few examples with you. This is what I like to do. I collect relics, and I believe some of this stuff might be in your yard. And I always offer to, maybe that house has been in their family for generations. I'll tell them if there's any jewelry or any personal artifacts, I'll give that back to them for sure. Maybe a ring or a pendant or something that could have been their grandmother's, or something like that. It's not going to be of much use to me, but could be an awesome treasure to them. So I definitely give stuff like that back, and that helps get the permission also.
It's great advice. Outside of detecting, you're sort of an artistic craftsman, and you do some woodworking and welding. What kind of things do you make?
I'm not sure if I'm an artistic craftsman, but I like to make stuff. Usually doesn't start out very well, but I again, watch YouTube videos, see how to make it, and I just like to make things myself. I made my own Halloween costume one year. I went to the Renaissance Festival one year, and I made a plague doctor mask, and turned out pretty good. I didn't even know I could make something like that, but learned some painting techniques, and I like to learn. Life's a learning journey.
Yes, it is.
So you mentioned one of your favorite pastimes is cutting the grass. What do you like about that? What's so great about it?
That's kind of weird. I don't know. It's just your yard's messy, and there's clumps of weeds and grass, and then an hour later you can make it pretty again. It's just, I don't know. I just like a nice manicured lawn. You look at your neighbors' yards and there's weeds and dandelions, and you make yours looking nice. And I don't know. I just always like to do that.
I think it could be kind of meditative, almost like metal detecting. You know, you're out there, you're doing your thing, you're closed out from outside distractions and thoughts, and you're doing some cool stuff.
Yep, it gives you time to think and process the day, and get something accomplished at the same time.
It is a feeling of accomplishment, definitely.
So you found some great stuff. What are you hoping to find that you haven't found yet, and where are you hoping to detect that you haven't detected yet?
I kind of don't want to say my hotspot.
To be vague,
but there's in Maryland, the first settlement in Maryland. That's where I'm heading to next, and where the settlers first settled in Maryland, which is St. Mary City, but it's all of it is protected, so it's you have to find a landowner that's outside the historic district and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm shooting for. But like I said, a lot of people go there. I haven't gotten any permissions yet, but hoping to get maybe in that vicinity, not necessarily there, but people spread out. So there's got to be stuff in that area.
That leads to my question. If there was one place in the U.S. that has always been off limits to metal detecting, where would you want to go?
There's got to be stuff at the White House.
Oh, yeah, the White House.
I'm sure there's a ton of EMI interference, but I think it'd be cool impossible to detect there. But if somehow you could get permission, maybe a president took a stroll and could have dropped his pocket watch or.
Oh, yeah. I bet there's some pretty cool stuff. The White House lawn would be excellent. That'd be really cool.
And definitely interesting. Foreign dignitaries could have dropped something or, no telling what you could find.
Yep. Maybe one day they'll open it up to us and we can film it and make a great YouTube episode.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So if there was any new technology to come out in the metal detecting world, what would hope for that to be?
I guess my nemesis is the pull tab. If there's something that says, hey, dummy, this is a pull tab, don't dig it, that would be great. I've learned to discriminate a lot of stuff, but sometimes those darn things still get you.
Yeah,
I think you have a nice signal, and it's a
Wouldn't it be nice if they started making pull tabs out of some other material, like
plastic?
Yeah.
Yeah, and let me add can slaw to that list too.
Yes,
that's one of mine.
I've gotten pretty good at that. I mean, that's usually a ridiculous, booming signal.
It is.
You lift your coil up, a foot off the ground, you still hear it. That's pretty much a can.
Yeah, a whole can. But if somebody hit that can with a lawnmower and got little pieces all over the place, that kind of, you hit that little piece, just you have to dig up them cans too sometimes because there's stuff underneath it, that could be there.
Yeah, the first time I went to Virginia, I wasn't using the Deus at the time, and I was using the AT Pro, but I'd learned to, I think on it, the pull tabs would ring up like 60, 65, if I remember correctly. So I was discriminating those signals, and that's also what bullets came up as. So I'm out with a friend that's an avid relic hunter in Virginia, and he's got a handful of bullets, and I hadn't found any. He's like, man, what are you doing? And so he dropped one of his, and I rang it, and I was like, oh my God, I've been just discriminating those signals all day long. Thought it was can slaw or pull tabs.
There was a hunt that we had at my club. This kid, he was pretty new to it, and he came out there with his AT Pro, and there was this one section. It was an old POW camp, and there was this one section that was just littered with tin cans because there used to be a racetrack over by around there, and it was just cans all over the place, and I was kind of avoiding that. But he come back from that area, and he had these cans in his pouch. He took one of the cans out while we were all standing around, and he was kind of just going through his pouch, seeing what he had in his pouch. And he threw this can down on the ground while he's sitting there next to it, and this big old $50 size coin fell out of that can that was wrapped up in that can, and it was some German coin, and it was silver. It was pretty cool. He would have never found that if he didn't dig that can,
Yeah, I have a hard time walking away from really good signals because every once in a while it turns out to be, copper or big silver, and I'd rather know it's not than walk away with the feeling of what could it have been.
Yeah.
the area where I got that Trime and the Eagle button, I pounded with the AT Pro, and it's a good machine, but it doesn't do well in iron, and that's one of the Deus's specialties. And so that's, as soon as I got the Deus, my finds just exploded exponentially. It's amazing how it can reawaken a site that either you've hunted out or others have hunted out.
Well, listen, Cameron, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had a great time talking to you and learning more about you. And again, welcome to XP Team USA. And again, I urge everybody listening, check out Cameron's article at xpdeus-usa.com. It's a really good article and just shows never give up.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, this was great. I'm hoping to maybe do this again. Talk to you guys again.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it was great talking to you.
That.
And we'd love to have you back again sometime. And we will talk to you then. We'll see you.
All right, anytime.
Thanks. Take care, Cameron.
Thank you.
This is Michael from XP Metal Detectors Americas. Be sure to check out the new XP ORX metal detector, models starting at $649.
XP has introduced its new ORX machine, a high-end machine at a mid-range price. The ORX has 4 factory preset programs, 2 gold, 2 coins, also 2 user programs. The ORX comes with a high-frequency coil and is compatible with the X35 coils. The ORX is now available in the USA. All right, we're back, and that was Cameron Macer.
Yeah, really, again, enjoyed talking to him. He's in Maryland. He's in a great, fantastic area for detecting. So I know we're going to hear a lot more from him this year.
Oh, yes. Yes, it was great talking to him. A lot of cool info and really interesting guy.
Yeah, I'll have to see if he can get some pictures posted of his woodworking and metalworking. I think he was kind of modest about that, but I bet you it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, once again, check out our XP Team USA little store we got going if you want to buy some XP Team USA apparel, and also check us out on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter.
Yep, it's at XP Team USA on all those different handles, so go and check it out. And again, hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Our next show is going to be Friday, December 13th. Already December coming up.
Oh, yes. This year's gone by so quick.
Crazy.
All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving and a safe Black Friday. And we will see everybody December 13th. See ya.
Take care, everyone.
Get that permission, put the coil to the soil, and we'll catch you next time right here on the Metal Detecting Podcast, brought to you by XP Metal Detectors.